Hi, nobody until somebody comes in. Uh, I didn't know what to do tonight on election night. Um, just because I have a funny story about election night from a personal standpoint. Let me say welcome to y'all. Oh, somebody came in. So what I'm going to do tonight is, well, as you can see, I probably should lower the light. I don't have a studio. It's just me. I could do that. That's fairly decent. My name's Chris Gray. I live in Parachute, Colorado, and uh, I'm just welcoming anybody that wants to come in and talk about the results as they start streaming in. And I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican or Libertarian or Independent or I don't know, the vanilla ice cream cult or whatever. Just come in and I'm going to go through it. And I'm a nobody. I'm a nobody. I have a stupid YouTube channel. I tried to do a character on this channel. It's called 420 Philosophy, and it's not quite what I thought it would be. See, I don't do anything scripted. I go off the top of my head, and I have horrible internet. So if you come in, there's a chance that the internet will lag. Okay, but if you come in and say hello, you know, you can type in. We can do informal polls and surveys. Like you can type in and say, "I'm voting for Trump. I'm voting for Biden." Da 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 da. Now, being in Colorado, there's a a senatorial race going on between the incumbent Cory Gardner and another career politician, John Hickenlooper, the Democrat. I think Hickenlooper's been the mayor of Denver, governor of Colorado. He may have been the dog catcher down in Salida. A career dude. I mean, he's got a mindset and a path set. And we had another guy like that who was a Republican who was a career politician named Scott McInnes. And, I met Scott McInnes. I did not and don't really desire to meet John Hickenlooper. But career politicians, both. Now, since all your major media outlets, online and on television and YouTube, you basically know where they stand. So, full disclosure, I am an independent who voted for Donald Trump in 2016, and less than half an hour ago, I voted for Donald Trump again. And my Democratic friends were a little mystified by it because I voted for Barack Obama in 2008 and 2012. And my attitude about it was I always vote for who I feel is the smartest person. And John McCain, soldier, hero, but a career man. I mean, Joe Biden is basically John McCain 2.0 in my estimation. Okay. And if you think about it, if John McCain had been elected president, he wouldn't have survived the second term. And I mean, that's unfortunate because, like I said, he defended his country, and I respect him for that. But I am an independent, and I really think that more and more of us should ignore the little D or the little R next to somebody's name and start voting for yourself. Because when you vote for yourself, you're going to look at all the issues more intently. I feel, and uh, and because I'm sorry. I like I said, no script, and I just got home from work. Literally, I dropped my ballot off. I'll tell you that story in a minute. I dropped my ballot off, came home, ate some Arby's, fed my puppies some doggy treats, and I got this blanket because they like this thing we call blanket time, where they lay on the blanket. I don't think they know blanket time. I think they just get excited just because I'm home. I live by myself. I a little bit more about me. I was married up until about this time last year, to be honest with you. And I had a boy and two girls, and they have all since moved away. And I'm a persona non grata to them. But I'm still an American, and I still believe in democracy. I believe in the Constitution, and that is why I have supported Donald J. Trump. I personally did not like what George W. Bush and his puppet master Dick Cheney did through their administration. I don't even know whose administration was, Cheney's or Bush's. It's one of them. And I really was disenfranchised with Barack Obama because, and he was ultimately powerless to fulfill some of these grandiose promises he made, but I bought in because he believed it. He promised hope and change, and I hoped there would have been change. But the change I hoped for didn't occur. And then when they propped up Hillary, my rule of thumb basically has been I try to vote who I think is the smartest person. And people will say, well, that's misogynist, sexist remark. You think Hillary was intelligent. Oh, no, quite the contrary. I thought she was extremely intelligent in a cunning sort of way. And cunning people can lead to trouble. And Trump's just, he's gruff. He's a New York City guy. I mean, he was handed things to him. I don't disagree with that. But he could have just coasted on the $1 million or whatever it was his dad gave him, just coasted and waited until his dad kicked off and got the inheritance. But no, he tried to build. And he's had some success and some failures, and he definitely does not have a middle of the road personality for people. And that's fine too. I mean, I don't. I mean, I rub people the wrong way. Just ask my ex-wife and ex-kids. So we're going to wait for the results to come in. I'm going to prop up a few channels and give you my opinions and stuff. And if people come in and chat, the chat line is open. You can type in anything you want. I don't want to be political about this because this is an historic event. I chew tobacco. Deal with it. It is an historic event because, in my estimation, again, and trust me, I go through all sides. I start my morning. I listen to talk radio. It's conservative talk radio, and you know what? Free plug because I'm not getting any compensation for this. I listen to a little radio station out of Glenwood Springs called KGLN 980 on the AM dial and 101.3 on the FM dial. And I start my morning with Hugh Hewitt on my drive into work, and then in the morning I got Glenn Beck for 3 hours. Then I get Rush, and if I have to say his last name, you guys just start paying attention. So I get Rush, midday from 10 to 1. Then I have Hannity, who comes on right after Rush, and then on the drive home I have Mark Levin. So you're going, wow, you aren't an independent, you're a total Republican. Well, no, that's not true, because all my web news sites where I read articles, I don't even have Fox in I don't even go to Fox, okay? I have CNN, and I have MSN, and then I got the local channels here. So I may pay a little bit of attention to the Cory Gardner, John Hickenlooper war, which I'm pretty sure Hickenlooper's going to win, just because if you don't know Colorado, the I-70 corridor from, well, even Fort Collins now, I suppose, from Fort Collins to Pueblo, you just look at a map, it's right along the Front Range there, is all blue. And that's unfortunate because out here I live on the western slope, and we are a little more red. I mean, we have Aspen, I guess, and Eagle County, and which has Vale and Avon. But, we have Aspen and Basalt and Snowmass Village. It's pretty blue up there. but not entirely blue. I found that out, and so it's hard as an independent to I don't want to say ride the fence, but when I make a decision, I stick by it unless you can change my mind or unless Donald Trump shoots up a rally sometime in the next. Well, I've already voted, so I can't even change my vote. So about my vote story, okay. As I've mentioned, I've been going through. Well, it's probably over now, a divorce, and I kind of shut down and stuff like that. So I'm not paying a lot of attention to local news. Not a lot of stuff happens in Parachute, Colorado, locally that's of any consequence, for the most part. And I don't really read the local newspapers because they're just basically high school newspapers, you know, high school level writing, high school level, and of course they all slant left, and it's kind of hard to get an equilibrium, even in the op-ed page, which is minimalistic at best. But I will sift through them occasionally, but I haven't read a newspaper regularly. I read it occasionally. Forever. Why do I want yesterday's news? I want the news that's happening in 5 minutes, and I think most of us can agree with that. I have my phone on. Oh, my friend. I have a friend from Texas now. She is voting for Biden, but she is my good friend, and I have never let politics. And this is something you guys should probably pay attention to. I have never let politics interfere with friendship. So, I have to do all kinds of stuff here. Like I said, this is unscripted, so I was expecting a message from her a little sooner than this, but she always has something funny to say to me, and you may overhear her. Issa, I'm sorry in advance, but my phone is broken, and I had to put it on speaker. This is compelling television, isn't it? Only on YouTube. We don't talk live because my phone's horrible. So we just text each other back, and she's got 3 little kids to take care of. And so when she has a minute, she responds to me, and then when I have a minute, I respond to her. See, you don't get this on CNN or Fox or MSNBC or Bloomberg or any of that stuff. A real Americana right here. Just a real guy just listening to a real text message. I really should be talking to you guys more. It's not like I'm interrupting her. All right. I think you're just a moderator, right? Number one there, the only person in there, because I know that's not me. Because there were 2 people in here at once. Someone actually had the gall. Okay, so what I'm going to do is respond to her and let her know what I'm doing. That's okay, Issa. I'm live right now. I'm doing a videos. I can't remember what I call it. Election results. Come and discuss with me. I've had one person come in. Well, 2, but I'm pretty sure one's a moderator, especially with a headline like election results. So yeah, just text me anytime you want, and I'll obviously respond. So yeah, I got my ballot dropped off, and I'm about to tell that one person here my ballot story, and I was about to hit that, but you take precedence over my stupid video. So just wanted you to know that. Maverick's waiting for Jacob. Maverick, he's not home yet. He'll be home soon. He'll come get you. It's my son. He's moved out, but he can't. He's staying with my ex-wife, I think. But her new boyfriend is like allergic to dogs or something like that, so he can't leave Maverick here. And I told Jake he can stay here anytime he wants, but it's a long story. But that's not what we're here to talk about tonight. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, see, I'm live, and I started talking to both the phone and the computer at the same time because the dogs don't talk back to me, and apparently neither does the computer. So I got that going for me. All right. So yeah, no, that's fine. You text me anytime you want. I don't know. I'm gonna do this video until it lags, and then I'll upload another one as soon as I can, so that I can do the election results because I'm still waiting. I mean, polls closed. Looks like let's see, the 8:30 there, so a buck and a half ago. So an hour and a half ago, the polls closed. But you know these people, they just go, oh, this channel or this network now projects that Donald Trump's going to win whatever, and Joe Biden won Delaware. Well, that's a no-brainer. Those aren't the ones we care about, right? We care about Florida and Pennsylvania and North Carolina and Wisconsin and this year Nevada, maybe Minnesota. So it's really interesting to me. South Carolina's got a great senatorial race. The incumbent Lindsey Graham is actually facing some opposition, tough opposition. When I mean tough opposition, I mean a lot of DNC money spent in South Carolina. But I can't convince those guys because they've already done voted. But you know, this is my Super Bowl. I love history. I love politics. I'm not politically by definition, but we'll get into that because I got all kinds of time. So yeah, I'm really not good at multitasking here, Issa, because I'm looking. Every time I look at the camera, all I see is my ugly face, and then I look over here and I say, "Oh God, I'm still talking." So yeah, I'm kind of excited, and Maverick's here, so I get to see Maverick for a little while, so that's cool. And Squeaker is already on the blanket time, and Maverick's afraid to jump up because I got the lamp resting on my knee so that it won't blur my wonderful visage as I talk to the mass. I would say the masses, but with only one person, I guess that would just be the mass. So yeah, I hope you enjoy your night, and I hope you talk to me again. And either way, I'll talk to you soon. So by telling her I went live, okay, telling her I went live, hopefully she'll click on my channel, and because my channel is just my name. I used to do this other channel called KME13, but I think that was more of therapy. So let's get back to my thing about the news. So I don't really pay attention to local news, and my mailbox, I'm sure you guys have all had this wonderful dilemma of trying to open your mailbox and it's stuffed full of flyers. Vote for this candidate, vote for that candidate, don't vote for this candidate, don't vote for that candidate, vote on this proposition, don't vote on this proposition. Well, I'm just having to research this all well, and there are definitely some issues this year in Colorado that have interested me, and I'll do it the one that I don't know. All the other ones are the ads and stuff. One I haven't heard a lot of ads about, but 2 years ago I took a survey about it. I do this little thing called Veridice. I'm really going to get to the point here. And there was this thing. Are you a voter in Colorado? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And who did you vote for in 2000? And it just asks you the same questions over and over. And it's talking about reintroducing gray wolves into the wilds of Colorado. And, having people I know and friends who are ranchers and stuff like that, I could see their concerns that gray wolves would prey on their livestock and stuff like that. But the provision of the bill said that they would be compensated, fair market value, I guess, for any sheep or cattle or horses or pigs or any kind of livestock that is lost to predation from a gray wolf. And I'm like, okay, that seems like a nice balance. And And if it doesn't work, well, they'll move them or remove them. And I think you know what I mean by that. The lighting's so horrible here. I wish I could get a light, but I don't know. That wasn't so bad, but yeah, I'm just knocking stuff over. So we'll go back to this. Yeah, it's kind of more homey this way. So I'm a 55-year-old white male. I have not been the beneficiary of any white privilege. I'm not a racist. I'm not a homophobe. I've been accused of being a misogynist, and I guess there are times I was, but people can improve, and I'm all about that. But this election, it means a lot to me on a personal level, and it should mean a lot to you, especially any young person who's watching this after the fact and after the newly elected president has been named, whether it be Trump or if Joe Biden becomes our 46th president. I'm just a guy. I have a job. I live in a mobile home. I ruined 4 people's lives. But this is the country of second chances, and if not with my former family, hopefully there's somebody out there that will say, all right, this seems all right. I'm not without my baggage. I'm not. I'm not. But I'm waiting a little bit longer. I'm gonna click off me for a minute. So this is always weird to me. I got it on a News Now from Fox. The Fox one wasn't playing any sound. Really weird, right? But yeah, they've got Biden with 85 electoral votes. It just bumped up to Trump 61. It's amazing. There's a chat room. You got to go to Knox now. They're either seeing red hearts or blue hearts. It's like watching Lucky Charms scroll up and down the screen. And I'm not an idiot about my vote. When I voted for Obama, I wasn't an idiot. I got to tell you, the Democrat Party I knew is gone. It's gone. And this is the point I'm going to make is, my ballot story. So apparently this news, I missed the news or a letter. I probably threw a notice away from all the stupid flyers I was getting in the mailbox that I like to vote in person. Okay. I just do. It's part of the democratic process. It's part of the electoral process that makes it so much fun. You stand in line with your fellow Americans. You chat, you smile, or you stay silent, whatever. You see old friends, you see people you haven't seen in a while, you meet new friends. So I'm all excited to stand in line, have my stupid little mask and everything. And so I go there. I live 66 miles from where I work, okay? So it's 66 up, 66 back. And well, nothing's going on yet, so we'll go back to me just in case somebody comes in and wants to. Nope, nobody yet. That's all right. I'm the loneliest man in the world. I'm worse than a Maytag repairman. That is not a plug for Maytag, but if it was a plug for Maytag, send me a check. I don't know, $20, $30. That'll work. So I get down there and it's like, wow, people must have really did all the mail-in ballots early because I've been here like 95 million people or 100 million. A lot of the electorate had done mail-in ballots or early voting or whatever. I'm like, wow, I'll be in and out in no time at all. So there's this elderly couple volunteering. I'm like, outside. I'm like, oh, they're meeting people outside. That's nice. I'm like, this is where you vote, right? She goes, yeah. She goes, where's your ballot? I'm like, well, I'm just going to get a ballot and vote inside. She goes, no, you can't because we decided to just do drop-off ballots. And I was a little leery. If I'd been in any other place in the world or in America, I would have been extremely leery. But Parachute is a nice, decent town full of nice, decent people. And I live above them. That's the subdivision, Battle of Mesa. I jokingly call them the Twin Cities, uh, uh, because the irony of it all, they're tiny little towns. It's a town and then an unincorporated part of Parachute known as Battle of Mesa. Share the same zip code, share the same telephone prefix. It's like, oh, God, really? I go, I think I threw my ballot away. Because I was going to vote in person. Da, da, da. She goes, well, you can always run the rifle. Like, oh, man. I go, well, maybe I still got it somewhere. I have a little trash can just by my little desk here that I just throw mail away and empty every once in a while. Well, maybe it's in my little trash can. So I didn't tell her that. I go, maybe I didn't throw it away. That's what I said to her. And so I dash home, and I'm almost out of gas, and I have to get back down there by 7, which obviously I made it in plenty of time. I mean, I've been talking to you guys for 25 minutes. And so I come home, and Maverick's here, so I was excited to see him, and they're all excited to see me, so I have to give him a treat. And I look and rummage through my little trash can, and sure enough, there's the ballot. And so I open it up, and I fill it out, put it in the envelope, sign my name, rush back down there. And then I'm talking to the lady down there for like 10 minutes, and I thank them for volunteering, which people just don't do. I make a point. I make a point every election to thank everybody I talk to in the process that helps me through the electoral process. You know, you're going to do the booth, the electric booth, or the ballot. I always do the paper ballot. I just do. I'm not paranoid. It's more of a tradition for me. I've always voted on a paper ballot, and I'm going to continue. Except one year, I think it was the second time I voted for Obama. I did the electronic thing, and but I didn't like it. I wasn't comfortable with it. And it gave a little crown. Yeah. I don't know. There's something about the paper ballot's just more personalized to me. And so that's my ballot story. Now, about all the stuff I've talked about earlier, like being independent, you know, I get a lot of this, and I'm going to not try to be too political about it, but I want to say something to you younger Democrats, especially you quote-unquote college-educated Democrat youth, especially who are probably still in college, and this may be your very first presidential election. Congratulations. I hope you voted. I'm pretty sure I know how you voted, but at least I hope you voted. The American education process has been spoon-fed liberal rhetoric for years and years and years. And I sniffed this out when I was in high school. And I was in high school from 79 to 83. And you could just see the evolution. And it became unionized. And then, you know, we needed to start being bleeding hearts for this and that and this section of society and that section of society. And like, why can't we just all be Americans? Like, like where I work at, I mean, I have a pretty diverse crowd, a lot of Latinos that come where I work at, and we all talk, we all get along. I don't hate anybody, really, and, unless they really, really, really hurt me. And even then, I usually can blow it off after a little bit of an anger tirade. But this is my point, and especially to you, the youth. You cannot be informed in the internet age. And you guys, no offense, are just too lazy to do your own research. You need to be spoon-fed your information, and since you need to be spoon-fed and you're willing to, well, you have a tendency to have an affinity towards your professors. Okay, I get that. I had a teacher that I loved. I mean, he's the guy that could have turned me into something better. I just wasn't smart enough to understand what he was trying to do. I just wasn't. But I want you guys to realize something about today's Democratic Party. There used to be a thing called a Kennedy Democrat. Even when Bill Clinton was elected, I voted for Bill Clinton too. Even as Clinton was president, he was still kind of revered as a Kennedy Democrat. And then when Obama became president, it almost became an avoidance to be linked with the Kennedys in any way. For better or for worse, doesn't matter, okay? But you young people today would have never voted for John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Ever. Ever. And I find that funny because I was a big Kennedy fan because him and I share the same birthday, not the same birth year, same birthday. Or I'd be 103 years old. Wow. Yeah, he was born May 19th. No, excuse me, May 29th. God, I can't remember my own birthday tonight. May 29th, 1917. And I was born May 29th, 1965. Which leaves me out of the Kennedy assassination conspiracy because I wasn't even born yet. So that baby you saw on the grassy knoll is not me. But I've always found that as I got older and became a little more jaded towards the Democratic Party, again, I'm not a journalist. I'm under no obligation to withhold my political opinions, and I hope you guys share yours too. We can have a nice discourse about calling each other names and stuff like that. But this is the thing I've noticed, is that for years and years and years, and it goes back even before Kennedy, when civil rights was starting to become a hot button issue, and eventually a hot potato, that Democrats like to latch, I think all three work, onto a minority party and say, we're going to rise you above the ashes, we're going to sign on with Dr. Martin Luther King, which today I guess BLM don't appreciate what he did. God, that man tried to save the country, and like every man, he's flawed, made errors, said things that riled people the wrong way. Who doesn't? But you have been the black community, in my estimation, and I don't know this from the inner city black people that I met, because honestly, I haven't met a lot, but it seems like every black person, African American, whatever you want to call yourselves. I call myself Peach because I'm Peach. I'm kind of white. My legs are really white. I always hated that, the labeling and stuff. Like, I'm just a dude at the end of the day. I'm just a dude. I eat, I work, I use the restroom. I was sick all weekend. From Thursday night till yesterday, I missed work. I was just so out of it. We all bleed, we all cry, we all suffer loss, we all enjoy elation. I want the younger people to realize that until you quit labeling, okay, until you quit getting butthurt for somebody else, let's not have demographics involved as much. It's like, hi, I'm from Texas, or I'm from the south side of Chicago, or I'm from Spokane, Washington, or whatever. No, dude, you're just a dude, or you're a lady, a young lady, an older lady, whatever. You're just a person who happens to live in America. And these elections tonight, primarily the presidential one, is going to define the course of this country, not for 4 years. And Biden, let's be honest, will not survive 8 years. Either Amendment 25 will be called into play, which I think is what your little squad people want to have happen. You end up having Kamala Harris. You guys who've already voted probably need to think is, do you really want, and let's just say you're not a fringe or extremist like Antifa or BLM or the people who worship at the altar of Anastasia Ocasio-Cortez. Yeah, I said her name wrong on purpose. I am not going to call her by her 3 letters. No, that's not happening. You guys really think you can terraform the United States of America? Give away everything for free. But I just want to know, who the hell is going to pay for all that? You? You got free college. I mean, this is my argument I made with somebody the other day. It's like, okay, let's just say we give away everything for free. Squeak, can you get up for a second? That's my dog Squeaker. Get up for just a second, puppy. I'm going to change the light, but I'm still going to talk. Get up, get up, get up. I'm going to put my keyboard away. It's called my millionaire philosophy, okay? Let's just say, and million is just not going to cut it anymore these days, right? Not unless you live like I do. I could live in this dump for the rest of my life by myself on $1 million. I'm 55 years old. I'll get Social Security, which I paid into, so I get it back. Not like I'm getting it for free. Get on Medicaid, which I paid into, so I'm not getting it for free. I'm getting my money back in my estimation. So I should turn off the bingo game. If that really picks up, the speaker really picks it up. I apologize. Again, I don't have a producer. I don't even have any talent, to be honest with you. None that I can discern. So I have to take off my glasses because I get unnerved looking at myself. This is just, now it's just a blur. So let's just say every American alive today and henceforth born forward, it's $10 million. Okay? Right off the bat. And let's just say, well, yeah, okay, that's good, but we should give them a stipend every year of $1 million, for, insurance, health care, and stuff like that. Now, my dogs are barking, so that must mean Jacob's coming. So you'll have to forgive the barking. Again, this is not a professional quality video I'm making here. It's just me talking to you. Squeak, want a treat? Chi-Chi. Shush. Okay, so you get $10 million right up front. You cradle to grave, what do they call it? Womb to tomb, So you now have $10 million. And all your debts are forgiven. All of them. I wish all my debts could be forgiven. I would be in a much better financial situation than I am now. I'll never pay them. I'll try, but I'll never get it all the time. So now you have $10 million, and you're going to get $1 million a year. Isn't that wonderful? So let's add. Let's see, we got 340 million now, more or less now. The census will give us a better estimation here at the beginning of the year. So let's see, 300. So that's trillions. So that would be $3.4 trillion right off the bat. Okay? And then $3.4 trillion a year after that. Now everybody is a millionaire. Isn't that great? We don't have to be the glorious worker society of the Communist Party. God, I have a horrible ethnic accent. I can't even do my own accent. But now we're all rich, okay? Well, let's just say you went out and celebrated at a Mexican restaurant, and you had a lot of Mexican food. And, well, Mexican restaurant, you got to have a margarita or 4. So there you are, all right? And then as you're driving home, it hits you, your whole tummy just, it's like there's like a toilet in your stomach that flushed itself all the way down into the colon and right up to the sphincter. And now it's a race against time to get to that bathroom, right? So you go and you just, well, you ever see Dumb and Dumber when Jeff Daniels is in that bathroom? Magnitude that by about a factor of 6, okay? Well, you have just wrecked your bathroom and you've wrecked the plumbing, okay? Now you got this vile, nasty, disgusting thing that used to be your toilet and the pipes that go in under the house and into the sewer system. Well, it ain't going to the sewer system. It's coming back to you. and you don't know the first thing about plumbing. Here's my question: who are you going to call to fix it? You got millions of dollars. Obviously, you can pay for it, right? Who are you going to call? The plumber that got $10 million and $1 million per year for life after that? How about a contractor? Maybe your neighbor. Well, your neighbor might have done it because you and your neighbor get along, but your neighbor is, your neighbor's gone to Tahiti. But wait, you can't go to Tahiti because all the airline pilots don't want to fly. So, I can't rule that out. So I guess he could go drive, but he can't because he is stuck in Barstow because he wanted to go to Disneyland, which is going to be closed because nobody shows up to operate the rides. And he's stuck in Barstow, but there's no mechanics around because they're all at home or at their cabin by the lake or whatever. What I'm saying is, whether you make everybody make the same low pissant communist wage, okay, or make us all utopian-like millionaires, it's still the same fail. The fail is the same because nobody's going to come fix your little precious toilet. Okay? And the ironic thing is you were lucky enough to find a Mexican restaurant open to begin with because usually all the waiters and waitresses and cooks and management and bartenders and, well, they're at home. Which leads to the next problem. You have all this money, but who's gonna rotate the products out at your supermarket? Who's gonna bring the product into your super? You see what I'm saying? We do have a class system, but it is not relegated to a certain ethnic group. It is for anybody who wants to grab it by the reins and use their talents. Okay, like people bag on Kanye West, and I gotta admit, I don't really like his music. I don't like him. I like the South Park parody of him, and he almost had a sense of humor about it. But you know what? I mean, he had a talent that people recognize, and his niche, his genre of music. I don't know about self-proclaiming yourself a genius. It seems like every time someone self-proclaims themselves a genius, they're usually not. I know I used to do that. It's an insecurity thing. But he's had success. Okay, and what I like about him, what I really, really, really respect about him, is that he grabbed the brass ring and he tried to grab the brass ring again and wanted to run for president. I don't know. I'll listen to a little bit more of his speeches and his plans, but he said some things I agree with, so I could probably vote for Kanye West. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Donald Trump. I didn't like him. I didn't like him when he, what was it, the New Jersey, was it the New Jersey Generals of the USFL? The team went defunct, and I want to say it was the New Jersey Generals. It's been so long ago. He's just brash, and I know people like that. I don't like him. I'm sometimes like that, and then after as a second thought, an afterthought, I mean, God, I don't like anyone I'm like that, but it worked for him because he grabbed the brass ring. I mean, you got to have some luck. Okay, everybody's fortune relies on luck. Unless you find your fortune, you get lucky, and you pass that on to your kids and say, "Look, I want to give you this money because I know how hard I had to work, and I don't want you to have to work." And that's not a crime. They may not learn a lot about hard work and sacrifice and long hours and stuff like that, but you did that so they wouldn't have to. That's part of the American dream. And I'm getting back to these racial classes and the Democrats. Don't think I'm not. It's still on my mind. What I'm trying to say to the black demographic of the United States, I just hate using the word black and white. But I have to because it's the only way I can get my point across. Is that the Democrats are leaving you for another woman, and that other woman is going to be the Latino community. Okay? That's why they want to have open borders. The minute you open up your borders, you're letting everything in. And have you ever noticed Russia and China how hard it is to get into their country? Not exactly easy. Even so-called democracies, I can't get into Canada. I don't think, because I was arrested once, twice. I don't know. I don't know if I could even be granted citizenship into Canada, even though I'm just going to be. If I moved up there, I would just be a dude who. Well, I'd be rich first. I'd have to have at least $1 million. I don't have expensive taste. $1 million would last me the rest of my life, especially when I started getting my Social Security kicked in. I make minimum money now, and I'm getting by barely. So I mean, with $1 million and Social Security, I think I could live the rest of my life okay. But they're leaving you for another woman. But they're stringing you along. That's all I'm saying. Every time, that might be Jacob. Every time I listen to a white person feel a black person's pain, I get sick to my stomach. Like, I couldn't understand what a Jewish person would have to endure having lost someone to the Holocaust, for example. I couldn't relate. I can't relate because my family tree was never in bondage, as far as I know. I mean, maybe years and centuries and centuries and centuries ago, some of my family tree, some of us were slaves. I don't know. People want to make slavery a black thing. No, it's a people thing. There's white slavery going on in this country right now. But the Democrats always dangled that carrot at you. Welfare, free health care. And they gave you just enough to keep you down. They gave you just enough to keep you down. And wanting more. And wanting more. And then they wouldn't always give you more. If you think about it, they wouldn't always give you more. But they would blame the other side. But the thing is, they were making promises that couldn't be kept. If they want to promise you something, they should promise you the right to the American dream. Okay? I just want to know how a $165,000 a year job as a senator makes you a multi-millionaire. I don't get it. I don't see how Maxine Waters or Joe Biden on $165,000 a year. I think Maxine Waters is just a congresswoman, right? So I don't know. But they all get rich. You want to know why? Because they're selling you and me down the river for their own personal interest. Hunter Biden. So, and they know how to do it. And that's what I like about Trump. You can't buy this guy. So since they realized they couldn't buy this guy, they would make up stories that have been proven false and that the media doesn't cover. That's another thing. You guys got to open your mind with the media. You got to hold your nose and listen to Fox. You got to hold your nose and listen to Rush or Mark and just open your mind up. I couldn't stand Rush until I opened my mind. And there's still some things he says I'm like, but Trump does too. And Biden hasn't said anything I've agreed with. Okay? The only thing he said he wants to change the country. I agree. The country can always be improved. It can. But when you got radicals, like, what's the chick that married her husband, her brother, to get him into the country? I mean, did they consummate that marriage? I'm just asking. Appaloosa, Ocasio-Cortez. I just can't stand that woman. It's not hate. I just can't stand her. And the idiots of New York who think Chuck Schumer is a good representative of the city, county State of New York. That's Ghostbusters case. And thinks she's good and thinks Mario Cuomo. You know, if you guys think that is good representation, look at New York City. I mean, it's always going to have its vile parts. Every city does. But man, you have let your politicians slowly turn New York into a cesspool. Let's look at Obama. Guy I voted for. With all these gun murders that go on in Chicago, like, I don't know, like clockwork, I don't even know how else to put it. Where was he and Joe Biden trying to put an ease to the gun violence in Chicago? Okay? I visited Chicago in 83 or 84. People are coming home from voting, so everybody on my block that I know is a Trump supporter, except for one. There's one up the block that's a Biden supporter. But you know what? We say hi, hello. And I know this sounds like a rambling rant, and it more than likely is. But I just want you guys to know. Let's just do the most vile word in the English language: minorities. Okay. The minute you are called a minority, you've already been degraded down one notch in somebody's eye. So come, I like to use the word person. I don't even care about man or woman. But you have been led down a primrose path of lies and deceit. But you can't prove their lies or deceit because they give you just enough sugar to get that bitter away. And hopefully next election cycle, or when we get a Democrat in the White House again, things are going to go up, up, up. Read his book. Read facts. The highest unemployment rate for minorities has been under Donald Trump. You don't know why? He doesn't look at people as minorities. He looks at people as people that want jobs and want to live the American dream, and he did and does what he can, even though being stalwarted by the Democratic Party at every freaking turn. And I hope, and it's not going to be a blowout either way. I think we all can agree. Guys! I think we can all agree. Come get a treat. You're barking way too much. That Pennsylvania is going to be key to this election. It's what? It's a little after 7, so it's 9 o'clock now on the East Coast. So why don't we do an update? I'll go to my other window. I could open them all up, and it just slows my computer down. Right now, Biden is leading by projections, 119 to 92. So it's going to be nip and tuck. I really don't like this channel. Unless I watch News Now for Fox. Not really what I was looking for. And if Joe Biden wins, I've got to get to this because they're going to start calling more states here. And I mean, my introduction has been long, but you got to understand, I live in Colorado. And I'm also bummed that Sean Connery died. Okay? That was horrible. I like Sean Connery. Live election results. There's my research. At least I don't have to look at my ugly face. So here's my choices. And since nobody's in here except the monitor, I got CS, NBC, USA Today. What channel was this? Oh, Tampa Bay. I mean, that might be interesting. Because of Florida. Let's do this. Let's check the Florida one, okay? That way, because that's the key state before Pennsylvania. So let's check that out. Oh my God, Charlie Crist is still in office. So anyway, you young folks and you minorities, which I hate that word in in that context. The minute the Democrats quit looking at you as minorities, and not the Republicans, I'm telling you, I've been on both sides of the coin. And I can tell you from experience and from educating myself a little bit, taking in all points of view that I can. Okay? And remember, I have a busy life, so I get most of my news from the Democrats online, and I get most of my commentary and other side of the coin from radio. Okay? I'm a radio guy. I don't even have television. I got YouTube and Hulu. But I mean, I have a TV, but I haven't had cable in 12 years. Don't miss it. Okay, this is a little too specific because it's talking about ballots in the Florida election. I have no interest in because they don't affect me. But this is interesting though. Raising Florida's minimum wage is leading 62% to 38%, almost 3 million votes. $15 per hour minimum wage. Now, I make $15.50 an hour, and that is dick where I live. And see, that's the whole context, okay? I live in a place where billionaires and millionaires come to ski and then eventually come to buy billionaire and millionaire homes that need to be built by at least millionaire, thousandaire people who do well in the construction business, and then the trickle-down effect. So famously tried to be implemented by Ronald Reagan, and so bastardized by Edward Asner. That guy's just gone. Anyway, so at the end of the day, I make $15.50 an hour. I have made more money in my life, and I have made less money in my life, as far as a wage goes. You go, wow, $15.50, that must be great. No, not really. Not really. If I tried to live in the town I work in, I would have to have 5 roommates at the wage I make. It's impossible to live up there. And if I did, I would live dirt poor. And at least down here, I still kind of live dirt poor, but I live in a nice neighborhood. The house isn't nice, but it could have been. But I live in a I don't live in squalor, but it ain't far off from it. But I couldn't afford to live there, and that's the rub, right? Like in Wyoming, just the diverse. Well, I'll give you an example just here in my little area, okay? My ex-wife worked at Wendy's in Glenwood Springs, which is closer to Aspen, okay? And she was making 11 an hour at the time. This was years ago, okay? Years ago. But she didn't like driving in the snow, and parachutists luckily or unluckily equidistant from Glenwood Springs to the east towards Aspen, and to Grand Junction, the biggest city in our area, to the west. And there's a canyon she has to drive through there, but they don't get as much snow, so the drive would be as hair raising. Okay. Hello, second person. So she decided to fly down there, and she was only going to make $5.50 an hour, as opposed to whatever it was, 11 or 12. And they're 90 miles apart, those two towns. Why? Because they can get cheaper labor down there, and no, they don't have to pay as much. Now, here's the problem, and the morons in Seattle found this out, that if you make a minimum wage set like that at $15 an hour, hey, I'm not sneezing at it. I make $15.50, not much more. I'm not saying it's not a bad idea, except that it is a bad idea because it kills the incentive to open up a business. And if you are forced to pay a minimum wage, then you have to cut hours. So you're still making the same paycheck. If that, you may just lose your job altogether because you'll get laid off, or the business will just up and close. You see what I'm saying? So a guaranteed minimum wage of $15 an hour, while a good idea in on paper, again, who's going to pay for it? Well, the customers might, because they'll have to raise their prices, and if you raise your prices, well, people aren't going to go to your restaurant or your clothing store or whatever the hell it is you sell. Okay, and with online transactions happening more and more and more, you're going to have less and less customers. So I don't know. And if we're going to make things mandatory, okay, if you want to get all liberal on that, if you're going to make things mandatory, why don't you have a limit on what you can charge for rent? Because once a landlord, trust me, landlords are as scummy as lawyers, most lawyers, used car salesmen, all used car salesmen, and politicians, well, all of them too. And they'll say, well, you're making $15 an hour, so we're raising your rent $400. So guess what? You still lose. You still lose. The lowest person on the scale at the bottom of the food chain loses. This is what the Democrats want for minorities. That is the point I am trying to make, is that no matter how many carrots they dangle at you, they don't look at the big picture. They don't care to look at the big picture. They only care what's going to get your vote in an even numbered year. That's it. And as soon as, I'm going to use this word one last time, as soon as the minorities of this country, and I don't see how women can be classified as a minority, because I think it's like 51 to 49 women to men on the planet. I don't know what the exact breakdown is in America, but it's got to be relatively close to that. There are more women to men, and yet here I am alone, which is fine for now. I don't want to be alone forever, obviously, but you see what I'm saying? They it's like that. Oh, the paradox. God, I can't remember. Yeah, you take a step, or you go half the distance and half the distance and half the distance. According to that reasoning and logic, okay, you will never reach the finish line. That is, I wish I could. I can't remember what it's called. Some kind of paradox. Zeno's paradox. Zeno's Xena. I don't know what Lucy Wallace would have. But anyway, that carrot that you want to reach is never going to be obtained unless you go and grab it yourself. Okay? And it takes a lot of courage, because I know I wrote a book in my bedroom here. I wrote it 20 years ago, and it still sits up there because I don't think my talent's good enough to have that printed. I write songs. I sing them into my phone, and I type the words on my computer. I'm not a musician. I just write songs, and I don't have the courage to go out and grab it. At least not at this point in my life. I don't have the courage to do what I'm doing here, and I'm basically doing this as a monologue, a soliloquy, because I'm just sitting here by myself. Guys, it's just the neighbors. By myself, talking to myself. And, so that is, that's on me, and it should be the American way. It should be on you, and it should not be. I'm going to use a little bit of language here, but not too harsh. There's an old saying: "It's not who you know, it's who you blow," kind of thing. As long as we have the ladder of success done that way, Harvey Weinstein, unless you give things of yourself you don't want to give, you won't get it. The Hollywood dream or the hoops dream. There's always somebody who wants a piece of you. Okay, and until we as a society reject that, that's the way it's always going to be. There are people I've seen who can sing wonderfully, act great, and they had a brief shot at a chance of a snowball's hell kind of chance of maybe making it, and they were rejecting it. From a personal viewpoint of mine, I was like, wow, that's why I got in songwriting. This guy wrote the song. I was like, wow, I do that, and but I guess I'm afraid of failure, and I think that's what a lot of us are. And you know, people go, well, the inner city, is really tough and hard and stuff like that. It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. You can make something nice instead of spraying graffiti. Fucking plant a garden. Clean up. Clean it up. I know cities are tough because it's hard to find a tree or a nice little park or anything like that. You guys are all bunched up together. I'm lucky. I live out in the outdoors. I mean, my neighbors are 40 feet away from me, but I don't. If I don't want to see them, I don't. If they don't want to see me, we don't. I hardly talk to any of my neighbors because we, respect each other's privacy. We got a little bit of breathing space. So I admit it's tougher. But as long as you let, you guys are going to hate me for this. Oh my God, you're going to hate me for this. As long as you let the Democratic Party be your masters, you will be their slaves. That is the blacks, the Latinos, the Asians, Jewish people to some extent, women to a major extent. I'm sorry, I'm not going to go with all this gender bias crap. You're a man or a woman, okay, or a hermaphrodite. I met one once. I was really fascinated by that, and he identified as a he, but he had both genitalia, and I don't know how I could live like that, but he seemed to go right. He's like, I am who I am, and that's what I'm trying. I guess that's my point. You are who you are. You don't have to get all butthurt or have demonstrations or God Almighty burn down your freaking city and loot it. And you see, I want to segue into something new here. I don't understand. Someone emailed me a while back. I'm really into this. I hope you guys, if you're watching the replay of this, I hope you're enjoying it because I don't know. I haven't really done much election stuff. It's been more of me just ranting. There's someone with my last name. Lynn Gray is beating Sally Harris in the school board of Hillsborough County. Oh, I'm still in Florida, aren't I? Okay. We'll find another. What's this? Election Tracker Live. Now this news. USA Today, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN. I have no respect for them. I mean, my God, I am so sick of Fredo Cuomo. Yeah, Fredo. I'll say it to your face. If you do anything, I'll knock you on your ass. Quit acting like Fredo. I won't call you like Fredo. And Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon, and oh my God, the worst one of all from 2016, Wolf Blitzer, who led a couple of live broadcasts, Persian Gulf, make his career. The guy's a hack, has always been a hack, and will always be a hack, okay? He happened to have a cool name at a time before the internet where CNN was really, it was 24-hour news, and he made a name for himself. I can't. I really can't. Belittle him for that. He got the opportunity, he rolled with it. But my God, he is a one-trick pony. Go watch. I lost all my lighting. Go watch CNN 2016 coverage of the presidential election. He was so orgasmic about this one neighborhood of Detroit. They usually always all vote. I was like, God, shut the hell up, dude. You are pathetic. And watching Cuomo and Don Lemon chide each other about this and that and the other stuff, it seriously is like watching the local high school media channel where kids from student council who know a little bit about what is it, AV or whatever, get to your own and they can't report a news article to save their lives about injecting their opinions into it. And you're saying, well, Chris, you're a hypocrite because that's exactly what you're doing. I'm not a journalist. I don't get paid to do this. I make nothing from this. I may not even get views on this. What I'm saying is you cannot seriously believe that you're unbiased. I admit it. You don't. You guys have, what the hell? I just made a bunch of stuff. I don't know. Anyway, I don't see how you guys can sleep at night thinking you're doing something that's honest. And I'm talking about all the media, even Fox. But even Fox has become a little more liberal. I mean, you got Hannity and you got Tucker Carlson and stuff like that. I can't watch Hannity. I can listen to him on the radio, but I can't watch it, dude. He reminds me of a televangelist with his hairdo and stuff like that. And the guy won't shut up. He will not let a person speak. Him and Hugh Hewitt. Why don't you guys learn from the master, Rush? The guy at least listens to a point of view, and he'll let it go for even a little while. But then if something really, really, really important that a point that a person makes, he will stop. He will stop them and say, "No, that's a great point. Let's expand on that." Handy can't get enough of his own voice. I listen to him on the radio sometimes. It's like, oh my god. But Hugh Hewitt, I'm sorry, Hugh, you're a rhino. You may think you're not. You may declare you're not, but you're a rhino. You kiss ass to all people on, what is it, NBC or CNBC or whatever you do your Sunday morning crap on. I would not want you as a moderator for a presidential debate ever again, ever. You're a rhino. Oh my God. Schnitt. Todd Schnitt. He comes on the same time as Hannity on another channel on the radio, but I don't listen to him because he's a rhino. He's like, I'm just this, and I'm not a rhino. I voted for Trump. I'm not a Republican in name only. I'm a Trump supporter in country only. Okay, there wasn't another Republican I wanted to vote for in 2016. Maybe Ted Cruz, maybe. But he although he gave it to Facebook and those boys the other day at the Senate hearings, that was pretty good. He just didn't seem very animated. I think Ted Cruz, seriously, would be a better Supreme Court judge than a president because he's they call the term originalist. I call him constitutionalist. I want somebody that follows the laws of the Constitution. If you violate the laws of the Constitution, you pay the price, whether it be jail or fine or a cease and desist of whatever it is you did unconstitutionally. Fair enough. People say the Constitution is outdated. No, it's not. It's not. We have advanced a hell of a lot further than our founding fathers thought we would or could ever conceive. That I'm talking to myself, seeing my picture. Let's see what James Monroe get a whiff of that and see what he thought. But they had incredible foresight because there are enemies, foreign and domestic, that want to hurt this one, harm this country. And Beto O'Rourke is a good example of that. And anybody that supports him or would have him in his administration, because he wants to take your guns away. And you go, whoa, yeah, you're going to take your gun? Can't go shoot a buyer anymore? I don't own a gun. I've never owned a gun. I never will own a gun. But by God, the Constitution guaranteed that I can have one if I want one. Am I going to become a mass murderer? No. Are people that use guns illegally and kill other people and hurt them? Yeah, absolutely. And some of them, well, are policemen. Okay? I think we can all agree on that. But you guys are taking the occasional rogue cop, just like the occasional black person who shoots another black person in Chicago, or a little girl in Chicago, or in New York City, a little girl who's done nothing to nobody ever, Why don't we take all the guns away from the black people in Chicago or New York City or up in Seattle? Huh? Or are we violating their constitutional right to own a gun? You can't be a hypocrite about it. Okay? You can't. You guys choose to. And the reason you choose to is you continue to put the circle the oval, put the check mark, punch the button for anybody's freaking name that has a D by it. You show me a Democrat. You show me a Democrat that supports the Second Amendment. I'd vote for him. I would. If he was smarter than that. See, you know what my biggest thing was? Why I usually voted Democrat? Was I really believed in a woman's right to choose about abortion. Okay. I firmly believe that. I firmly believe I can read any book I want, watch anything I want on YouTube, and I've watched some stuff on the internet. God knows I've watched some stuff on the internet. I really supported abortion, and that's the wrong way to put it. Because that's what the central issue is. It's not a woman's right to choose; it's abortion. But I supported Roe v. Wade. I was in favor of Roe v. Wade. The Democrats just have to take it one step further closer to fascism. Where now, in theory, a woman can give birth to a baby that they make as comfortable as possible. Give birth to a baby. And let the woman decide, well, are you going to keep the baby or should we euthanize the kid right here on the spot? That's when it quit being a woman's right to choose. That is being coerced. And if you put in legislation, like I think it was New York that did this, again, no prep, impromptu, okay? So I didn't do any research. I thought about what I was going to say on the way home from work while I was going to go vote. This is what my little video is going to be all about. And now, and not because I'm leaning Republican, because you go, oh, you're just a God-fearing, I'm an atheist. So you can't throw that one at me. So you lose on that account. Excuse me. I was sick for like 5 days. Still getting it wasn't COVID. Nowadays, but I was sick. It was definitely the flu, though. I was down for the count, but the fever was gone, and then, oh my God, the nausea. I don't want to talk about that. Being hot and cold at the same time. Everything. It was kind of bad, to be honest with you. But I have an audience of one. That's so funny. And this is Squeaker. He's right here, laying down. He's tired. He wants to go to bed. Oh, I'm going to bed. I'll wrap up this video. I thought we'd have some people come in, but I don't think that's going to happen. But now you're pushing me away from even allowing a woman to have the right to choose. Because you took the inch and now you legislated the whole week. No. I don't know much about theology. And I don't know at what point when the sperm hits the egg, if there is such a thing, when the sperm hits the egg, when the soul begins. But, in retrospect, and I can admit mistakes, I'm beginning to feel more and more like abortion is an easy way out for some women. There are some instances where abortion is probably the only choice, because if you create another mouth to feed on the welfare state, and I've seen that side of it, I have, where you just create another ward of the state, both mother and child. They get food stamps, they get WIC, they get LEAP, or whatever the hell else they get. Okay, it's not if you continue to do that, all you are doing is creating a bigger quagmire in the welfare state, and that's unacceptable. Also, so I don't know. I've lately have been soul searching on that. When does the soul begin, and when is a baby a baby? Obviously, at birth, it's definitely classified as a baby. I mean, probably up to, I don't know, 7 months. I don't know what the magic number is. But I think if you carry a child to term because you're wishy-washy about it, and I can understand the wishy-washy part of it. You know, most people have a tendency to want a child, but I have never been a fan of something that discriminates against a sector of society, and not allowing a woman a choice over her own body seemed to me a government-imposed section against a person's freedom of choice and liberty. I believe that. I do. I do. But you can't get a child to term because you're the health care. Okay? I just don't know where that line is anymore. Well, that having a new baby lying on a table awaiting a death sentence is way past that line. That's how I feel. Having not been a woman myself, and obviously never been pregnant, I've been in relationships where an abortion has happened. Okay? Neither one of us, in 2 instances. One was a one-night stand, and one was an off and on relationship I was having, where it was kind of a friend with benefits thing, and neither one of us wanted a kid. She hated me laying down, and she decided. I felt like I didn't have much of a decision in it, because it was my and her irresponsibility that ended us up in that position. But ultimately, it was her body and her life, and she would be the one enduring it and having to go through the childbirth. And the other one, they were one night stand, and heat in the moment kind of thing, and we both were idiots. So maybe if Planned Parenthood would not just focus in on women, but young men too. It was irresponsible of me because I just expected. If you're going to have sex with me, then you should come. That was the irresponsible stupidity of a young man. And you'll say, well, why didn't you use a condom? Duh. In that situation, it was like a heat of the moment. We were on a drive, we started talking, we started making out, and it just got out of control, and we both sowed our wild oats. So, from a certain standpoint, I'm responsible for 2 deaths, in a way. But as I got older and wiser,
I realized that, there should be a cutoff point where a woman says, I cannot bring this baby child to term because they have their life to live. And it may sound selfish, but if you make a kid a ward of the state, most of these single parent, I won't say single mom, that's not fair. Single parent families, for the most part, obviously there's exceptions, struggle in life. And Maverick, come here. And so I don't know. But I seem to know that every one of these hot button issues always gets the flames fanned by the Democrats, which is why I'm not a Democrat. Even though I've voted Democrat, more often than I've voted Republican. And as I've voted in every election, I haven't voted for a president in every election because I could not vote for George W. Bush, and I would not vote for the Democrat. It was a Kerry and whatever the other idiot was. But my very first presidential election, very first one, I got to vote. I voted for Ronald Reagan because he was tough, and I think that's what we need. We don't need tough talking politicians. We need to have tough acting politicians, which, as I bring it all the way around in an hour and a half, is why I voted for Donald J. Trump. Don't regret it. And I voted for him this time. I don't regret it. But the way the Democratic Party is headed, where just a certain minor base of people is dictating the policies of an entire party, the major one. This country could go to hell in a handbasket. And you're saying, well, now you tell me it's far too late. Like, well, this country may have to learn a tough lesson if Donald Trump loses. Because I see more young and upcoming Republicans coming up through the ranks than I do Democrats who believe in America. There's a guy, I just saw his ad. I wish I could remember his name. I want to say it's Joe Williams, and I know I'm off because it was just a brief ad. But he's a black dude in Maxine Waters' district who's taking her on. I hope he beats her. Probably won't. But he seems tough, which is what I want. He's tough acting, which is what I want. People go, so you'd vote for a black person? Yeah, I'd vote for Obama. I mean, he is black, right? I don't vote for color. I don't vote for party. I vote for who I think is the best. And people are going to bang on me about this, but you know who else I think would be a great president? And I know I'm going to get flack for this because of all the crap that happened at Ohio State University. I'd vote for Jim Jordan out of Ohio. That guy takes absolutely no crap from nobody, no how, no time, anyhow, anywhere. God, you guys, I am over you barking. I'd let you outside, but the whole neighborhood doesn't want to hear this crap. Come on, be good. So I'm going to give you a quick update. I can't believe my computer has lasted this long, to be honest with you. It usually lags by now. But let's see. Let's see. It says right now they're projecting that. Yeah, it's just going too fast. Come on, you guys, slow down. I don't want to turn up the volume too much. What am I watching? This is Fox News. This is horrible. Fox News doesn't have any sound. It just keeps showing the same graphics over and over again for like 3 seconds. I cannot watch CBS. I cannot watch NBC. I just can't. USA Today is too left for me. Fox is still a little too far right. I wish C-SPAN had it. Let's see if they do. Oh, I'll try this one. Let's see if this is. I found another Fox News thing. But folks, you guys have already voted. The polls are almost closed on the West Coast now. 15 minutes. Then you got Alaska and Hawaii, of course. This is the same channel. America Votes, CBC. Who's CBC? Huffington Post. No. Yeah. Are those idiots, the Young Turks, still on YouTube? Do they still do their idiotic crap, Young Turks? That one guy's like as old as I am. That is not a young Turk. He's more like me. He's probably an old jerk. I know that was weak, but I'm tired. I'm not getting these updates as much as I wanted. I really wanted to do a video as soon as I got home. Hello, second person. It says welcome there, so welcome. You have missed my entire rant, and I am not going to rehash it because I don't think I can barely remember the course. Because I kind of go off in all directions. Just whatever comes in my mind. But I had a nice dissertation, and I'm slanted to the right. I'll tell you that right now. And I kind of bagged on people who are slanted to the left because I used to be slanted to the left. But I'm finding more and more and more and more that I'd rather keep America America than turn it into whatever the hell the Democrats want to turn it into. And when I post this up, you can listen to my millionaire paradox and all kinds of stuff. Things I used to believe in, to be honest with you. What's really funny is I'm probably one of the few, I'm sure there's more of us, but atheist people who voted for Donald Trump. I am not a big religious guy. I am an American, okay? And I consider anybody who abides by the Constitution, who will come into this country legally, be assimilated as an American, not assimilated as a robot, as an American. Adapt to our culture, share some of their culture, but not ram it down our throats. That's why I'm not a religious person. I believe in protecting religion. I believe in keeping religion and state kept separately. But I do not want some religion to go by the wayside. And you go, well, what about extremists? Well, extremists are extremists. There's extremist police, there's extremist religious people, there are extremist BLM people, Antifa people, KKK people. Kind of rehashing something I talked about earlier. Extremists in a democracy, a constitutional republic, will be dealt with according to the laws of the Constitution. And sometimes the laws of the Constitution requires tougher measures to make sure that the Constitution is protected and defended. I mean, basically, by being born an American or by becoming a naturalized, legal American citizen, I don't care where you're from, south of the border, north of the border, Europe, Asia, Australia, Antarctica, or Mars. You follow the process. And then when you do that, you're welcome to the benefits of this country. You're welcome to try to make your dream come true in this country. People will disparage you, but the law will not disparage you. But you can't come in here illegally. And once you become a naturalized citizen, or like I said, by birthright, You have an obligation and a duty to uphold and defend the Constitution. The Constitution overrides all of us. All of us. Now, people like to use that, all of us, when they're trying to slam somebody, but trying to make it so the Constitution doesn't really apply to them. Maxine Waters is quoted on camera saying, "I don't care what the law is." Hypocrite. Okay? Hypocrite. She should have been ousted long ago. Her and Pelosi, and don't get me wrong, there's some jagged older people on the Republican side that need to go. See, this is why you need to have term limits. You can only be a senator for 2 terms. You get 2. That's it. You know? Now, the Constitution doesn't suggest for this, but that's why there's amendments to the Constitution. But then it become really political, and it could get ugly. But I always felt like there should be term limits for justices of the Supreme Court. This lifelong appointment is just too dictatorial for me. Always has been. It's always bothered me. But how do you break it up? Well, one thing, you don't pack the court, okay? That's unconstitutional. They tried it with FDR. I think they moved it up to 13 or 11 or something like that. Now, you should make a couple of constitutional amendments. Amendment number 1 is that the Supreme Court shall always remain at 9 justices, 1 chief, 8 associates. Now, for the tricky part, for the Second Amendment to the Constitution regarding the Supreme Court, this is tricky because you could have a nationwide gerrymander, and I don't want that. But I think you should district the Supreme Court not by population, but by region. Okay? And so you'd have to divide it up into 8 sections of the country. And these would never be changed. So you got 8, 9. You'll have 9, 8. You'd have 8 regions, okay? And you would have 1 national election for a Supreme Court justice who would serve 2 4-year terms, okay? The 8 associates and Chief Justice would all serve 8-year terms. Subject or 4-year terms, the maximum of 8 years. 2 4-year terms is the max. Now this is the tricky part because you would have justices. So you got 50 states, 8 justices, and then 1 Chief Justice. The Chief Justice, let's get that out of the way. Chief Justice would be a national election just as it is for president. You would have a Democrat probably, or a Republican, or maybe an independent, or a libertarian, or whatever. But you would have judges. And see, this is where it gets kind of sticky because then it would become political. I just think that a modification of the Supreme Court, we may just have to leave it to 2 4-year terms. And then when that person's term is up, unless they die while in office or retire, let's just say like, I don't know. I don't want to use any new ones. Well, let's use Ginsburg. So Ruth Bader Ginsburg gets appointed by Bill Clinton. I didn't have a problem with it. There was a lot of things that she supported. I did. Women's rights, gay marriage, stuff like that. That stuff doesn't bother me. Just don't ram it down my throat. Okay? But let's just say she gets appointed on whenever she got appointed. Let's make up a date because I didn't research this. February 17th. Bad day. Let's try something else. March the 6th. Okay? So she gets nominated on March the 6th, 1993. Okay? Her last day of office would be March the 5th, So I guess it'd be an 8-year term. So her last day in office would be March the 5th, 2001. All right. So the president still has the right to appoint a justice, but it's only for an 8-year term, not this lifetime crap. Now, I'm not fond of 8. 6 might be better. Where a president could use stipulative politics there if the timing's right. No offense to Justice Ginsburg, but when she died here last month. What a weird year this has been, huh, folks? What a weird year. But hear me out. So I just don't think having the associate justice justice elected would be a good idea. But I also think having people in their 90s telling people in their 20s their interpretation of the Constitution. See, the Constitution should not be subject to interpretation in such a political vein. The words are there. They're in black and white. They're right there. This law or this amendment or this article of the Constitution states this. There's no interpretation needed. That's what it says. It's right there. But, good lawyering and good politicking will find a way to circumvent the Constitution and twist and finagle it in such a way that it could be interpreted. Yes. Well, let me go with my other idea. So, anyway, you divide up the country into 8 sections. The northeast, the southeast, northeast, southeast. You'd have to have 6 areas, right? Or six states, 7 states in some occasions. The West, including Alaska and Hawaii. The mountain region, which would be from Idaho, I don't know, Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico. Okay, that's 7 states. So, there would be, but each region would get the vote on a justice. And there would be it sounds convoluted, but with a little trial and error, I think it could be polished. But you wouldn't have a popular vote. It would be like the presidential, there'd be an electoral college for each region. Now, the West, I think we know how that would turn out. The Northeast, pretty sure how that would turn out. Mountain region, I'm fairly sure how that would turn out, even though I'm still worried about that I-70 corridor. And since we're going to make it a whole region, would say from Casper down to Albuquerque. I keep saying I-70, I mean I-25, the whole I-25 corridor. Down to Albuquerque, Santa Fe. When, the further south you get, the darker blue it becomes. I don't know. It would take hard for me to figure it all out, but I think if you divided up the 8 justices into 6 regions, have a vote, you have an electoral college, and you would obviously do the electoral system on the amount of population there, where I don't know. I've had weird ideas like this before. This is some of the strangest shit I've ever had. So I have another idea about the electoral college that would absolutely determine a winner. There would never be a tie. I can just not imagine there ever being a tie. Okay? This is how I break the tiebreaker. And you make an amendment, obviously, to the Constitution that would, in the unlikely event of a tie, okay? Let's use a state that's usually kind of down the middle. Florida, I guess, would be a good one. So let's just say there was 20 electoral votes, all right, or whatever Florida is, 28, 29. I don't know. I haven't looked at the damn map lately. I haven't even clicked on anything. Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna go to Now this news. A little election tracker. Hopefully that's kind of independent. I don't know who's independent, who isn't anymore. I know who isn't, but I don't know who is. Unbiased. So let's just say it's 29 votes, 29 electoral votes. Okay, and it's a close. It's close. It's within 10,000 votes. Okay, and God, I'm just not getting what I want out of this. I might just have to go to CNN or MSN online just to see how things are shaping up. Because I just don't want to listen to a bunch of talking heads talk that I have no respect for, okay? But, so let's just say it's 50 point, oh God, you probably have to go into the thousands. So you extrapolate it out to the thousand, and if you have to the 10,000, sort of like in the Olympics where, fractions of a second determine the winner, okay? And people go, well, that's just too convoluted. We have technology. How convoluted can it be? Well, let's just say Biden wins Florida. People go, before, like, 29. No, because this makes the popular vote just a little bit more important and would entice more people to vote. Because in this situation, literally every vote would count. Because you could extrapolate it out. If it's still tied at, let's just say, okay, let's get to this point. So Biden wins 50. Yeah, I know my connection's unstable. So, okay, it's going again. So you guys missed everything about my electoral college thing, but people are coming home now, and the internet's not very strong here, so more and more people are clicking on. So thank you for coming in. I'm sorry I didn't give you any results. It was just too early, but I knew I had to get in before people got home from work and stuff before I could start. Before what's happening is happening. It happened. So I hope tomorrow morning or in the days and weeks to come, in all honesty, I like everybody. I really do. I just think some of the things some people do are stupid. I do things that are stupid. So, I'm not a hypocrite. I admit I'm a moron sometimes. I don't want to say I hope your guy wins, because in a lot of cases I truly don't. But I do hope in the days and weeks to come that we have in America. I wish you all a good night, and I wish you guys the happiest of lives. And I know it sounds corny, but I truly do love you guys. I love my country, and I love Americans. And I think we still have greatness to achieve, and I still think we have obstacles to overcome. But we have to do it the American way, and we have to do it through our Constitution. So for you religious people, God bless. For you non-religious people, peace out. You guys rock. Take care.